and continue to seek people out, because support can fade over time. So if you know somebody's grieving, it's really important to be able to seek them out. To acknowledge that it's unique, and you might have had a very similar experience yourself, but you didn't have that experience, and sort of being able to honor the uniqueness of that. If you know an anniversary or a holiday is coming up and it's going to impact somebody, it might be nice to reach out and make personal contact or write them a note. Yes, so we can actually help each other heal when we receive each other's stories and listen and honor them. All right, so I'm going to leave that actually and let Barb come up. Sorry, 2 more slides, is that okay? All right, so when it's not healing, when it's not working, what might be happening? I think it's important to look at the number of the chronic grief we might have in our life, the times it has all occurred. So if we've had lots of grief over a long period of time, we might need to go back to the beginning and start working on the first one before we can grieve the most recent one. Sometimes we've got delayed grief reactions where we didn't have time or space to grieve those things well, and so they kind of piled up. We had to get down to the work that we were doing. We had to take care of kids. We had to do whatever was in front of us, those tasks in front of us, and so we never gave ourselves time to emotionally grieve, and so we need to do that. Or we might have avoided grieving altogether, and in that case, I think it's important to seek help from a professional and get work to work all of those things. We can't do that by ourselves. And then as far as grief and depression go, to talk about that for a little bit, I think grief is kind of a roller coaster. It goes up and down. We experience it maybe one day more intensely and the next day not so much. We might be crying earlier in the day and be surprised that we were laughing at something later in the day and forgot that we were grieving for a second. And it's very much focused on an event. We know I am grieving because this event happened, and everybody around me agrees that that event occurred, and they know that it happened and that I'm grieving. Depression is more focused on ourselves. There's not a specific event necessarily. It's more saying, like, I'm just sad and I don't know why. I can't think through this. I can't pinpoint when it started. It just is there. I don't experience up and downs as much about feeling happy. I can't remember the last time I felt happy. I can't remember the last time I was fully present in a situation. And so you can have grief and depression at the same time, but grief itself is not necessarily depression. It could be strong emotions, it could be sadness, but it's not necessarily depression. And so if you're struggling with trying to figure